put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live for another doubleheader of Premier League football this Sunday afternoon, and we start at Bramall Lane where Sheffield United, bottom of the table, welcome Brighton, the side they've already met this season and were heavily beaten by the Brighton side at Bramall Lane in the FA Cup at the end of last month. We then head to Kenilworth Road where Luton have given a lot of teams a tough time this season, a lot of big teams, and they face Manchester United, the next on their list, to try and cause an upset. They were heavily beaten by Sheffield United. Sheffield United's first away win of the season last week. Luton, they'll be hoping to bounce back from that defeat, and Sheffield United will look to build on those 3 points at this afternoon. Those two games live on LFS for you. We've already had 7 Premier League games this weekend, and a lot of action at the top of the table, especially with Liverpool extending their lead to the current champions Manchester City to 5 points after their 4-1 win at lunchtime yesterday. Arsenal responded to that by going even better and scoring 5 away at Burnley as they closed the gap to Liverpool to just 2 points. Villa back to winning ways away at Fulham. Newcastle and Bournemouth drawing 2-2. Forest beating West Ham, piling more pressure on David Moyes. Nottingham Forest getting back to winning ways there after their poor run of form. Wolves done the double over Spurs. Spurs beaten at home. A very rare sight, but Wolves and Gary O'Neill doing a fantastic job there inside the top half. And Man City and Chelsea are playing out a 1-1 draw at the Etihad, which is huge for the top of the table. We'll talk about all the ramifications and what that means for the teams as we go on throughout today. We've a lot to get through and 2 very good games to show you this afternoon. Let's get to the teams from Bramall Lane then. For Sheffield United against Brighton, and Chris Wilder starts with Wes Fodringham in goal. They've gone for a back five of Jayden Bogle, Mason Holgate, Anel Ahmedhodzic, who's the captain, Jack Robinson and Yasser Larouci in defence. A midfield of Vinicius Souza, Ben Osborne, Gus Hammer and James McAtee, with William Osula the main centre forward. A 5-4-1 formation, it seems, for Sheffield United, very deep and defensive. From the visiting Brighton side, Roberto De Zerbi, not known for his changes, and he's gone for 1 or 2 here this afternoon. Verbruggen starts in goal, a back 5 for them, or a back 3 as they would rather put it, of Pascal Gross, John Paul Van Hecke, Lewis Dunk the captain, Adam Webster and Tariq Lamptey in the Brighton defence. Billy Gilmore and Facundo Buonanotte make up the midfield, with an attacking 3 that show a lot of threat and a lot of pace in Simon Adingra, Cairo Mitoma and Danny Welbeck starting up front for Brighton this afternoon. Key players on the bench for both teams, the likes of Norwood, Davis, Brooks, Brewster, McBurney as well for Sheffield United. For Brighton, Ansu Fati and Evan Ferguson, the main kind of headliners on the bench this afternoon. So a lot of options for Brighton off the bench. Sheffield United, well, they want their 11 players on the pitch to do the job like they did last week. Back-to-back wins is unbeknownst to Sheffield United this season, and they want to get back to, well, they want to build on that 3 points that they got last week away at Luton. Or will Brighton come and spoil the party? Bramall Lane, kick-off between Sheffield United and Brighton, is on the way next. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live this afternoon. In this very exciting of our first of 2 Premier League games this afternoon at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United bottom of the table. They kind of clawed their way back to Burnley after that win away at Luton last week. Their first away win of the season. The only side without an away win this season. They got that last weekend away at Luton, one of the toughest places to go in the Premier League this season. As many of the big teams know, Bramall Lane a bit easier for away teams this campaign, and Brighton get their trip to Bramall Lane, their second trip to Bramall Lane, underway. Sheffield United, of course, in their red and white striped tops with black shorts, and Brighton in their black and green shirts with black shorts. This afternoon, of course, Brighton in their away kit. I don't know why they chose the away kit. They play in blue and white, but nevertheless. We are underway. And we're an intriguing game, really. You know, Sheffield United have been embarrassed on this ground this season on a couple of games. The likes of an Aston Villa, the Newcastle games spring to mind of those big defeats for Sheffield United this season at home. Only 2 wins at home this season. Only 8 points from their 12 Premier League home games this season. Now remember, whenever Sheffield United were back last in the league with Chris Wilder, their home form was kind of the pinnacle of their successes, getting into the top half of the league, and started off positively here. Here's McAtee, finds a nice ball. Bogle with a shot, forces a save from Verbruggen. Went down to his right hand side. Good start from Sheffield United. McAtee again, trying to feed it in behind. Hammer made the run, but just overrun it in the end and run out of room. Gus Hammer. It was a good move down the right hand side. They take it down nicely the first time. Really good link up between McAtee and Osula, I think it is. And then McAtee just holds the ball up, gives it to Jayden Bogle, who makes the run down the right. Strikes it across goal, forces Verbruggen to make the save. And then the follow-up. Gus Hammer made the run in behind, and just the ball evaded him at the last second. A positive start for the home team. Something for Brighton to be wary of, those wide areas, but that's where they're most threatening, Brighton. Here's Tariq Lamptey. Of course, back in the Brighton side. Not been a mainstay for very long, of course, with those injuries. And he was absolutely fantastic when he was consistently on this Brighton side. One of their best performers under the likes of a Graham Potter a few seasons ago. Here's Lamptey, nice ball, finds Mitoma down the left. Mitoma with the ball. Welbeck was close, but marked all the way by Ahmed Odzic, and it goes out for a Brighton corner. Good move. Lamptey just taking up the wide area, literally on the left touchline, waits for Mitoma to make the run. Mitoma breaks away from his man, cuts it across for Danny Welbeck, and well defended, well marshalled by Ahmed Odzic. Didn't give Danny Welbeck an inch of space and forced it behind for the corner. Brighton have a lot of height from these set pieces. See what they can do from it. Ball whipped in. Webster was closest, but Sheffield United get it clear. And it goes all the way back to Bart Verbruggen in the Brighton goal, who will pick it up again for the visitors. And that's one thing that Sheffield United need to be wary of, is Brighton's threat from set pieces. The extreme height in this Brighton side. There's a lot of threats. A lot of players that can get their head to the ball from those corners and free kicks. Gross with the ball forward, but that one's really poorly delivered. Sheffield United recover. They fire the ball up down the line. One for McAtee to chase, and McAtee has the final touch. Goal kick, Brighton. It's good covering by Lewis Dunk, putting a Sheffield United player under pressure. And Lewis Dunk now getting into his side. Not happy there with how that last play developed. High press from Sheffield United there. Not allowing, not wanting Brighton to play out. Here's Verbruggen. Gives it to Dunk. Now Van Hecke has to go back to Lewis Dunk. Beats the press of Osula there. Finds it to Welbeck, who's coming deep. Here is Danny Welbeck. Has to go back to Lewis Dunk. Mitoma. Dunk. On the run was Lamptey. Keeps the pressure on, and Ahmed Odzic has to make the clearance. Goes out for a Brighton throw on the left hand side. Seems to be the pace down the left. One or two occasions so far where Brighton are getting their most joy. The likes of a Mitoma and a Lamptey. Although there was a handball there on Danny Welbeck. It'll be a free kick to Sheffield United. Well, despite that big defeat against Brighton earlier this season in the FA Cup, in the last 5 Premier League meetings between these two sides, the only 5 Premier League meetings between these two sides, all Sheffield United unbeaten in all of those. 2 wins and 3 draws. Brighton yet to beat Sheffield United in the Premier League. That will be something that Sheffield United will want to continue this afternoon, as tough a job as it would be. But here's Gus Hammer. Finds McAtee, but just got away from him. But Sheffield United keep the possession. Robinson finds Larouci. Trying to break forward. Yes, Larouci, but run into... Got crowded out there. Got run into a few Brighton bodies. And as Buonanotte held the ball up there. It's just fired by Vinicius Souza. Free kick to Brighton. There's one thing both sides have in their team is pace in the wide areas. Especially Brighton, the threats that their wide players can offer. The likes of a Karo Mitoma and a Simon Adingra. Both pacey players. And you've got the likes of a Tariq Lamptey as well in the side. Here is Adingra. Nice ball forward. Makes the run into the box. Plays the ball across. And oh, Ahmed Odzic nearly put it into his own net. Fodringham had to grasp it away. That cross from Adingra was much more dangerous than initially thought. Good ball. I think it was Webster that played the ball down the right hand side. Adingra just beautiful touch past Larouci. Gets the cross in, and it's just a low cross right across the box, and you just think the defender's going to clear it, but Adingra with his right boot, and then Ahmed Odzic just trying to stretch for it, almost kicks it into his own goal. Luckily his keeper was alert to that, or that could have been a really embarrassing mistake for the Sheffield United captain. Well, they've played themselves out of trouble here, Sheffield United. McAtee, space to run, but the ball wasn't perfect, and Verbruggen got on the recovery. Well, there's an issue here for Facundo Buonanotte for Brighton. Could be an issue, seems to be in a bit of pain. See it again, it could be from the challenge earlier. And it's actually from a challenge from Ben Osborne just a moment or two ago. He's back to his feet. There, I think, are Buonanotte. Neither side have really, in the opening 8-9 minutes or so, kind of grasped the game. Brighton have had the more of the possession, but it's not been sustained. Like sustained constant pressure on the Sheffield United defence. But both sides know what their pace can offer, especially Sheffield United. You know, they're not going to worry about the lack of possession that they're having, or the lack of dominance and control in the game. What they know is they keep their defensive structure compact and tight and well marshalled, then they can catch Brighton out on the break. There's a ball over the top from Brighton, almost got onto the right boot of Pascal Gross. It was Van Hecke that time. Van Hecke spotted the run of Gross completely unmarked, and he was played onside by Yasser Larouci. He was just a bit slow at pushing up. And if it was right onto the boot of Pascal Gross, that would have been a real threat for Wes Fodringham and Sheffield United there, but just evaded the Brighton man. That's another thing that they need to worry about, is those balls over the top. And here's another one. And that time, Foderingham is quick out of his goal and cleared it away. But again, that's one or two occasions where we've seen Brighton just try that ball over the top, just try and pip it over the Sheffield United defence and see who's making a run. That time it was Gross. Before that it was Mitoma. Adingra had made that run as well earlier in the game. Certainly trying to pose a threat with the ball over the top. Brighton. Webster to Van Hecke. A bit of a forced pass back to Van Hecke. Brought under control by Lewis Dunk. Here is the Brighton captain, to Jean-Paul Van Hecke. Webster. Now to Gross. He's playing that kind of wing-back role, Pascal Gross. So a role he's fulfilled for Brighton under Roberto De Zerbi recently. Here's Kaoru Mitoma, trying to spin away from his marker, and Jayden Bogle, but good recovery. But actually the free kick goes the way of Kaoru Mitoma, and the referee is pulling out a yellow card. Mason Holgate with the foul. And Sheffield United players are not happy. Brighton players getting involved as well. And the referee has a terribly tough job here to decide what's going on. Trying to figure out what Stewart was going to do. I think they're checking for a possible red. They are. So Michael Oliver, the VAR, is checking for a red card for serious foul play. And the referee's been called to the screen actually to have a look at it. Oh! Oh, that is definitely a red card. From that reverse angle, is right. Mason Holgate's right boot is literally on the upper kind of leg of Kaoru Mitoma, and the yellow card is chalked off, and yellow turns to red, and Mason Holgate is off, and rightfully so. That is one of the worst challenges I've seen this season. Nowhere near the ball, and his right boot, as he comes in for the challenge, he swings a right leg out, and it literally, hits the upper leg of Kaoru Mitoma. That is nuts. That's an awful challenge by Mason Holgate, and rightfully so. VAR did its job there. Michael Oliver calling Stuart Atwell to the screen, and only one or two looks at it from the referee. And Stuart Atwell changed the initial yellow card to a straight red card, and Mason Holgate is going for an early shower. Chris Wilder now needs to figure out how his side adapt to this defensively, losing one of their centre backs. See how they do adapt. They have a free kick to defend first. Mitoma is up and okay, which is good to see. He's on the sidelines at the moment. It's a free kick delivered, right footed, flicked on by Van Hecke, and Sheffield United get in the way of it and scramble it away. And out of danger. It's good pressure by Gus Hammer, but it will be a Brighton throw. I think there might be going to a back four, I think, Chris Wilder. We'll see. Although it looks like a 3 for the minute. Looks like it's Robinson, Ahmedodzic and Bogle in a back 3, but then oh no, they're going to a back 4. Yeah, so Larucci dropping in. So a back 4 seems to be the way of it for Sheffield United. So it looks to be 4-4-1 will be their kind of formation. And obviously, coming into this, of course, Chris Wilder obviously wanted that back 5. Three very strong centre backs in Jack Robinson, Ahmedodzic and Holgate, but not a good. It was an awful challenge by Mason Holgate. Might get bad to worse here for Sheffield United, because Lost the centre back. They might lose their goalkeeper as well. Wes Fodringham feeling something in his left foot. Well, he'll get a bit of treatment now. But 15 minutes gone. It is goalless here at Bramall Lane between Sheffield United and Brighton. But Mason Hole get dismissed after a reckless challenge at the very least against Karu Mitoma. I'll try and get pictures of that for you as soon as possible. It's an awful challenge. The point of contact is probably the highest I've seen this season. It is shocking how high the challenge is. Fodringham just getting a bit of treatment there at the moment for that issue. And we'll see in due course whether this will be another loss for Sheffield United. Chris Wilder does actually give him a moment to try and deliver the message for the players of what they're going to try and go for. Looks a couple of occasions there. He signalled to a 4. Ms. Fodringham back to his feet. Just doing a few exercises to stretch out that left boot. That left leg, sorry. And he has. So he's back to his feet and the physios will leave the pitch. We will try and get pictures of that challenge for you very shortly. As soon as we can. Sheffield United have a throw-in. Larouci to take. Booted up the pitch by Osborne. That's all the way through and good covering by Lewis Dunk. And gets it back to his keeper Verbruggen. Well, if Brighton were having pressure and dominating possession early on, it's only going to kind of increase now with the man advantage. Space down that left hand side. Here's Lamptey trying to work his way towards the byline, chips it across and just overhit and half cleared by Sheffield United. The follow up was dealt with. Here's a Dingra, he delivers early. Ahmed Odzic with a flank, gets it away. Adingra will get it again, whips it in again, but this time overhit it, Simon Adingra, and it will run out for a Sheffield United throw in on the far side. Another aspect to it is if Sheffield United were sitting deep and trying to soak up pressure beforehand, that's only going to increase as well. And, I mean, William Osula was pretty isolated early in the early exchanges already, very rarely involved in the play, but probably get even less of it now. Although that's good pressure by Osula, and he did put pressure on Van Hecke and wins a throw-in. Not all sides perform well against 10 men. Sometimes when a team does go down to 10, galvanises them and gets a performance out of them that is not expected. Especially with one less player on the pitch, but we'll see how Brighton react and how Sheffield United react to this big call by Stuart Atwell. The correct decision, without doubt. Stuart Atwell initially gave a yellow card on the pitch, and I thought that was pretty fair. Initially, I didn't see it as a foul. Of course, from the reverse angle, it's very, very clearly a awful challenge. Just shows you how different angles can offer up a very different opinion. It's so important to get the right angle, and they got the angle spot on. VAR. Stuart Atwell made the correct decision. Here's Lewis Dunk. Breaks forward, gives it to Lamptey. Lamptey on the left hand side, looking to work it into the box. Cuts it back for Mitoma. Back to Lamptey. Now Dunk. Dunk with a delivery. Well back. Oh. And Buonanotte was also in there. But it took a touch off a Sheffield United player on the way through. And Brighton will get a corner. Not to the amusement of the fans behind that goal. Did it get it? Oh, yeah, it might have. I think it doesn't get a touch there or there. Oh. If there is a touch, it's very, very minimal. Nonetheless, the corner's given. Gross with the corner. It's a deep one to the back post, headed across, and it's in, surely. Does it? They've given it. What confusion. I don't even know the referee gave it, if they'd given it or not, but he has. It did go in the back of the net somehow. I mean, how shambolic this. The corner comes in, it's headed at the back post. It's in, headed down by Van Hecke in a bit of a scramble. There's a lot of bodies in there. It's Gross with the delivery, fizzes it across to the back post. Van Hecke brings it down, and Buonanotte with a connection. And it's one of those ones where, oh well, yeah, it does. It hits the net. It hits the top of the net, yeah. 100%. Great header. And then it does. It hits the net, and Fotheringham tries to scramble it away. But it's just too late. What a crazy start to this game. A terrible, great red card decision. Terrible from Sheffield United. And then on one of those set pieces, I mentioned set pieces would be a big threat. And Buonanotte, the man to benefit. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 1. In those bizarre circumstances there. Certainly not a typical, traditional goal from a corner, but I said about that winning the first header, Sheffield United having to get to the ball first from those corners. They're trying to respond quickly here. Ball into the box. Still running. Oh. Gus Hammer. Right across goal. And the counter-attack. Turning Lewis Dunk inside out. Gus Hammer gets past Lamptey, who overstretches. And he just fires it across goal. Can't find the back of the net from the tight angle. Should do better. Just can't apply the finish to the unbelievable solo run. They do get a corner, which comes to nothing. Well, certainly a bizarre first 20 minutes or so here at Bramall Lane. I talked about Sheffield United's unbeaten run against Brighton in the Premier League. Well, it'll be tough to keep that going now under the circumstances. Bundled over there was Mitoma. Referee waved away any hopes of a penalty there for Brighton. And Sheffield United fans, I think, agree. I have to say, it's not one of the most convincing of falls from Kairo Mitoma. I don't think there's been any involvement from VAR. Michael Oliver there. Sheffield United in possession. Halfway through the first half. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 1. Buonanotte with the goal. The bizarre goal. And Sheffield United down to 10. But this is a nice run by Ahmed Odzic. Back to Bogle. Got McAtee alongside him. Jayden Bogle. Can't get past Mitoma, who dropped back to help out defensively. And Welbeck gets it back to Lamptey. Good move by Brighton. I'm gonna get you that picture, the still image of the challenge by Mason Holgate for you, just so you can have a look at it and assess for yourself. I mean, it is a red card, there's no doubts about that from my point of view. There's the ball in from Brighton back post. Big save by Fotheringham. Welbeck. 2-0. This could get embarrassing. Good goal by Danny Welbeck. Good save initially by Fotheringham, but he palms it straight back into the path of Danny Welbeck, who undoubtedly fires right behind the ball. It's Simon Adingra. Cuts it back for Gross. Gives it to Webster wide. Then back to Gross. Gross with a deep delivery to the back post. Mitoma sliding in. His strike is saved by Fotheringham. He just palms it out into the path of Danny Welbeck. One of the silliest things you can do. And Danny Welbeck dispatches it into the back of the Sheffield United net. And at this rate, I said it could get a bit embarrassing. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. And it's a real worry it will be now for Chris Wilder. They've been in this situation before where they've been kind of cast adrift literally so early in games, and they're in that similar position again where it's damage limitations. You can't let it get any worse than what it already is. Down to 10 and 2 goals down within 25 minutes. I mean, they can't afford to let it get any worse, Sheffield United. Let's have a look at this penalty shot again. I mean, that's not a penalty. Far too easy going over there. Mitoma's already been involved in a big decision. Let's have a look again at that VAR decision then. Just as Sheffield United had a free kick there that went wayward, quite embarrassingly. Let's have a look at that then. This is the still image. So Mason Holgate in the red, of course. Kairo Mitoma in the green and black. And look at that connection with the right boot. It is as clear as day. There's no doubt about it. But the referee was behind this challenge, so I can understand why he only gave a yellow on the field. But looking at the screen there, Stuart Atwell overturned his decision, and quite fairly so. I mean, it's awful. It's above the knee of Kairo Mitoma there. That's a shocking challenge by Mason Holgate. And you can see the ball is behind the left boot of Holgate. So it's evaded the challenge completely. Nowhere near the ball whatsoever. But that challenge is inexcusable. And that is what got him a red card. And we'll show you that again at half time just to talk through that situation. But at the moment it is Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. Buonanotte and Welbeck the goal scorers. Sheffield United, of course, down to 10. Mason Holgate, straight red card. And so far, as expected, Brighton are dominating the stats. And familiar faces around Bramall Lane. Devastation, really. I mean, their side, the last time they were in the Premier League, when they got relegated that season, they had, I think they broke the record for the most defeats in a Premier League season that season around. I don't think they can do it this time. I'll have to check. But they did break the record. I think it was 29 defeats in one season, which is quite obviously a record. Yeah, most defeats in a season, in a 38-game season. Sheffield United with the joint record alongside Derby and Sunderland with 29 defeats. Now, they can get that this season very easily. They can go to 31 defeats. They lose all of the rest of their games this season. Sheffield United could end up with 31 defeats and a brand new record in the Premier League. Here's Mitoma. Ball across. Escaped away off the line twice by Sheffield United there. Bodies on the line to clear it away, but Brighton again toying with them. The movement and the lack of engagement, really, initially from Sheffield United. I mean, it's last-ditch again, but Mitoma, the space and time down the left-hand side to get to the byline and cut it across, given far too much space and time for a player of his quality. Just basics, really. But no doubts. Of course, the extra man for Brighton helps massively, but in those defensive areas, you have to be more solid. And of course, Sheffield United breached the 60 mark of goals conceded. 62 now, of course, as it stands. Could get quite embarrassing. We'll see if it does or not. Challenge in there on Gross, I think that was, by Sousa. Got it fairly. According to the referee, the man is still down. It's Gilmore, actually, that was fouled. Well, he felt it was foul. The referee hasn't given a free kick. The ball's gone out of play just to ensure that Billy Gilmore's okay, but that's not got a good response as he's straight back to his feet. Got a good response from the home crowd there. Well, another stat that Sheffield United won't even want to go anywhere near is, of course, most goals conceded in a season, as 89 by Derby County in 2007-2008. Now, of course, they're a long way from that. They're still another 27 goals away from that. But I did I think I did the stats a few weeks ago of what they're averaging in terms of goals conceded per game. Over the season, it was 2.5 goals conceded per game, which would average out at 95 points, or 95 goals conceded over the season, which would be a Premier League record. Of course, that's that poor kind of defensive record combined with the lack of goal scoring. The lowest scorers in the Premier League, quite clearly, by 22 goals. The closest to that is Burnley with 25 and Everton with 26. Crystal Palace with 27. So that it's a kind of that toxic combination of not scoring but also conceding a lot as well. Here's Webster. Gross. I mean, this is pretty comfortable at the moment for Brighton, let's be honest. Here's a Dingra. Space on the right, trying to turn Larucci inside. It gets the ball across, cleared away that time. A Dingra. Now Webster. Van Hecke. Brighton again, just toying with the Sheffield United players, just passing it around. And since that whole get red card, they've had just one shot. Sheffield United, Brighton having more, and they're 9th. Through Danny Welbeck was on target, but a good save by Wes Foderingham down to his left-hand side. Again, it's that cross from Pascal Gross, given the space and time to deliver those balls. No pressure on the ball at all. And Danny Welbeck, I mean, he's up and wins it. Free header. If he gets any more kind of verve on that ball, a bit more height behind it, and would have beaten Wes Foderingham. It would have been 3-0, but it's headed straight into the ground, allowing Foderingham to recover. Here's Larucci. Ball down the left, Larucci battling, and offside there against Yasser Larucci. Not often you see that. And that free kick taken by Brighton. Finds it out to Lamptey. Now Dunk. Van Hecke. Gives it out to Gross. Time and space for the cross again. This one slightly away from Karu Mitoma. As Brighton try and win it back instantly, but well dealt with by Robinson and cleared away by Bogle. And all they can do is give it straight back to Brighton. Time and time again. Rinse and repeat at the minute. One-way traffic. Whatever cliche you want to use. Here's Tariq Lamptey. Trying to use his footwork to break past the Brighton defenders. Does it well. Finds Mitoma. Mitoma with the cross. Ooh, just ahead of Adingra there and cleared the ball away. I think that was Robinson with a clean header. And put it out for the Brighton throw. But don't forget, this is only one of two. This is the first of two Premier League commentaries this afternoon on LFS. We head to Kenilworth Road after this. At 4:30 is the visit of Manchester United. As a lot of big sides, including the likes of Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool, have all been given a tough time away at Luton this season. They've done well against the big teams. They didn't do well against Sheffield United last week. They lost at home to Sheffield United last week, Luton. And they want to bounce back, and what a statement that would be if they do end up getting something out of Manchester United. That's at 4:30. Well, team news from around 3:30, just under an hour's time for that team news for you from Kenilworth Road. Here's Mitoma. Space on the left, Bogle on the cover. Mitoma spins past him, gets to the byline, looking to cut it back. Not the right angle on it. And Ahmedodzic gets the clean, firm header to get it away. Well, one back though by Brighton. Dunk finds Gilmore. Fizz through to Welbeck, but too much on that one from Billy Gilmore. And again, Sheffield United losing the ball. Brighton have it back again. Gilmore gives it to Gross. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Webster. Van Hecke. Now finds Mitoma. Lamptey's come in field. Mitoma with the ball in. Cleared away. Webster chests it down and they go again. Again, it's just rinse and repeat for Brighton at the moment. Ball forward out to the left hand side. Here's Lamptey. Back outside. Wanted to go himself there. Hit the Sheffield United player in Bogle. Have to recover it. Mitoma. Now Lamptey again. Marshall there. Was Tariq Lamptey, and he put it out for the goal kick. Wanted the corner, but he was had the last touch. Goal kick to Sheffield United. We talked about that red card, you know, how the game was going to change and how kind of would Sheffield United adapt. So far they've struggled to get any of the ball really. I mean, it'd be interesting to see the possession that Brighton have had since that red card, because it's quite significant, I would say. Over a good 80%, almost pushing 90% probably, based on the possession they've had. But I would say, you know, they defensively, both goals very preventable. They are very preventable goals. I mean, the first one was from a corner. They didn't win the first header. They didn't react well to the second ball, and the ball was ever so slightly, but it was in the back of their net. It was over the line. Poor defensively there from the set piece. I talked about how set pieces were a real threat that Brighton would cause with the height that they have from those set pieces. It worked out well. Webster got the header at the back post, headed it down into the danger zone, and one of those very high quality players in Facundo Buonanotte got the finish. And then the second one, again, it's just a simple ball to the back post. Initial save by Foderingham, no one reacting to it. Don't react to it well enough. Foderingham just palms it out into the path of Danny Welbeck, and Welbeck does the rest. I mean, it's quite simple. You know, Brighton really haven't had to get out of probably first gear, never mind second gear, in this game so far to take a 2-goal lead. Sheffield United have been no competition so far to Brighton, and I get that they have the one less player on the pitch, but defensively, even with them sitting deeper and getting more bodies in the way, they still look fragile and very vulnerable in defensive areas. I mean, they're so narrow. When you look at it now, they have a back 4-5 that is so narrow, they're all inside their own 18-yard box, like at the width of their 18-yard box. So Brighton are given complete space down the wings. No one trying to engage or to kind of get involved, and Sheffield United only want to engage on the edge of their own box. So they're so narrow, so deep, that even when they do want to engage, it's far too late. The only way they're actually getting in the way of Brighton at the moment is heading the ball clear. Well, they've done well there. Ben Osborne, heavy first touch there from, I think it's McAtee. And it's clear because he's had very little of the ball. Couldn't get his first touch right there from the counter-attack. But when you sit so deep and are so narrow, there's only going to be one outcome, especially with the strength of the width of the wide players of Brighton and the threat they had from wide areas, but also the ability to deliver the ball. Here's a Dingra from the wide area again. Another ball delivered. Sheffield United clear it away. A Dingra uses his pace, gets past Larouci, goes for a goal himself, but hits it wide of the right post and in behind that net for a goal kick. again. I mean, this is going to have to be an intervention at half-time from Chris Wilder. They're going to have to talk about doing something different. Because if they keep doing what they're doing defensively, they are going to be carved open time and time and time again. There is a way to defend when you have 10 men on the pitch. But so far, Sheffield United are not doing that. And quite unexpectedly, they didn't make that a change, which was a surprise. Here's a Dinger, though. Again, breaking down the right, but this time someone does engage and wins the ball back for Sheffield United. Only for a moment or two, as the Dinger has it back again. Gives it to Gilmour. Space in the middle for Gilmour. Time and space galore. Here's Mitoma. Works it into the box. Well back now. Back to Mitoma. Heavy touch. And again cleared away by Sheffield United. They're even starting to get a bit of space and joy inside the 18-yard box of Sheffield United now. Brighton. Here's a Dingra. Back across to Gilmour. Now Dunk. Mitoma. Dunk. Lamptey. Space on the left. Lamptey with the delivery. Connection from Welbeck over the bar. Didn't get the right connection on it. Danny Welbeck with his head. But again, it's just so easy. I mean, Sheffield United are playing. I've got what? What is that? 8 players? 8 players in their 18-yard box, and not a single one of them can engage from a cross. There's 3 players trying to block the cross. No one within a few yards of the cross. And then when the cross comes in, there's 1 or 2 players around Danny Welbeck, and he still gets the header on it. I mean, it's basics. Win your duels, win your battles, and get out to players quickly. Especially players with pace and quality to deliver the ball into the box and onto the head of one of their forwards. Pascal Gross is one of them. Here he is. He feeds it in behind. Finds Welbeck. Has to go across to a Dingra. Back to Gross. Hecke. Or Van Hecke, sorry. Going to spread it out to the right. That time Dingra made the run early. And yes, Larouci was quick to that. Got it away, but Gross has it back. Dingra trying to use his skill to get it clear. And Sheffield United get themselves in a tussle again. Although they've come out with the possession. Larouci. Down the line. Chance here. McAtee. Breaks past Van Hecke. James McAtee will get a corner off Jean-Paul Van Hecke. Positive from Sheffield United. Space down the left. Larouci played the ball down the line. McAtee had just charging down the left flank and knew that he was not going to get the cross in. And Van Hecke was in kind of hot pursuit. I knew he was going to get the corner. Smart play from James McAtee. Not to force the cross. And he gets the corner. Right footed, delivered to the back post, headed across, not cleared away by Brighton, and it's tapped in! But the referee has not given it, I don't think. He spotted an issue with that goal. Stuart Atwell. And it might be another decision to go against the home side. It might be a foul on the goalkeeper for Bruggen, who knows? I didn't see anything. Had to see the replay. So the ball comes in at the back post, almost identical to Brighton's corner or goal from the corner. Bounces in. There's nothing in that, surely. I mean, it's Ahmed Odzic, I think, that wins the first header. No, sorry, it's Robinson that wins the first header. Where's the handball? Where's the handball? It does hit it does hit an upper arm, but when they're grappling with each other in there, that's not a foul. That's not a foul or a handball. I'm confused as to what the referee's seen. VAR checking it. Stuart Atwell, the decision. He's going to the screen, I think. So VAR have checked for a foul and not found one. So Stuart Atwell's going to have a review of his decision, and Sheffield United might have a positive end to the half. A pretty dismal half overall for them, but they could have a goal here. Ball at the back post. I mean, I don't know where the foul is. I don't know where the referee has seen a foul. Is it Ben Osborne trying to stop the goalkeeper? Because there's no contact with the goalkeeper there when the ball's delivered in. He doesn't make oh, actually. Ben Osborne might be in an offside, but he is in an offside position, but does he make contact with the ball? That's the question. So tight, this. We have finally found the reason that the goal was disallowed. And Stuart Atwell's walked away from the screen. He's chatting with both captains. There's Duncan Ahmedhodzic. Stuart Atwell, and we'll see what his decision will be. It looks like Ben Osborne is in an offside position, but whether he got the firm touch on it will be the crucial point. And the decision is no goal. So the on-field decision stands. Very confusing hand signal there from Stuart Atwell. It's the ball in. And then it's Sousa's upper arm that has connection with. Then it hits Buonanotte, off the head of Buonanotte. And then Osborne and someone else in there, both involved in the final touch over the line. And that is what I feel has been given for an offside on Ben Osborne. I'll have to get full confirmation of that, because that's been confusing as hell. And we will have 7 added minutes at the end of this half. So we've had a lot of VAR intervention in this first half. One was perfectly correct in the red card, and that one a bit confusing. It's been a lot of... It's not been the most free-flowing or clean of first half. It's been quite scrappy. But nonetheless, Brighton's, so far, their clean sheet remains intact. After having probably very little threat from Sheffield United overall in the game. Never mind since the red card. And as I mentioned, there's 7 added minutes. We've already played 2 minutes, but there'll probably be a bit more onto that at the end of this first half. Gross with the delivery. Lamptey was up, but Jayden Bogle got there ahead of him and cleared his lines, but could only clear it into the stand for a Sheffield United, or for a Brighton throw-in. Well, the one point that I would make, it did come off Buonanotte before it went to Ben Osborne, or well, the kind of double connection with Ben Osborne and the other Sheffield United player that I couldn't identify initially. But there was 2 involved. What the point would be made is Buonanotte didn't make a deliberate action, therefore didn't reset the offside. So Ben Osborne, if Buonanotte had deliberately made a deliberate action towards the ball and touched the ball deliberately, then it would have reset the offside and Ben Osborne wouldn't have been in an offside position. However, because it wasn't a deliberate action by Buonanotte, from what we can see, it looks like it just kind of deflects off him inadvertently, which therefore would not reset an offside decision and would not count as a deliberate action. Therefore, the offside will still stand. Very confusing, but it's the correct decision. It's great how the referee's seen that on the first time as well. He's made some good decisions, Stuart Atwell, in this first half so far. Very confusing first half, no doubts. And Brighton have a corner on the right hand side. There's a bit of tussling going on inside the 18-yard box, as is tradition with corners. Yeah, the referee getting involved in that, and Van Hecke and Trusty, I think, is the ones he's talking to. It is just having a conversation with a player of each team. They're a bit too eager in their tussles there for the corner. As it is delivered, right hand side, fizz one to the back post again, and first connection, it was Dunk, I think there, it was, and it was palmed over the bar by Fodringham. Gross with the delivery again, it's this one, it swings out at the very last second, and Lewis Dunk with it jumping up, makes a good connection on more of a looping header. And Wes Fodringham has to just put a right hand or left hand up to it, palm it over the bar. Another corner, delivered in again. Cleared away, Dunk with a connection. Hits a Sheffield United player and will get a throw-in. Looked very close to the corner flag there, but throw-in's been given to Brighton. 5 of the 7 added minutes in this first half have been played. Still Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. Well, if Sheffield United get a goal... Oh, that's a cynical challenge there by Tariq Lamptey. Just hacking at a player there. It's James McAtee. This time he's starting from the right hand side, and he was never going to get anywhere near the ball there, Tariq Lamptey. This time it's a Brighton player that is penalised. Only a yellow card for Lamptey though. And a free kick to Sheffield United. Free kick taken. Into a threatening position. Matoma does incredibly well to take it down first time and then get it away. There's a Sheffield United player down, but they're in possession. Referee says play on. Here's Hammer. Space on the right. Cut back. Bogle with the delivery. Just overhit. Larouci will recover though on the left. Chance for Sheffield United to maybe nick a goal before half time. They thought they'd nicked one. Larouci in behind. Here's Osborne. Osborne with the delivery. Cleared away. Back again comes Sheffield United. Not often we've seen this. Trusty with the Sheffield United players in the Brighton half. I look to threaten them. McAtee does well. Takes the ball down. Right hand side. McAtee up against Lamptey. McAtee gets to the byline. Goes down. And Tariq Lamptey looked a bit coy there. The ball went behind for a corner. He looked a bit coy. Waiting on the decision. Corner taken quickly. Taken short. Ahmed Odzic with the ball in. Cleared away. Ooh, Larouci has to recover here. Does incredibly well. Under pressure from Adingra. Larouci. Jesus. And Ben Osborne involved there. Buonanotte just fires it out of play. Oh, Welbeck and Sousa here. Just having words, nothing more. The referee trying to get control of this game again. Let me just blow the whistle. Get us to half time. We've already played the 7 added minutes. Well over the 7. We're at the 8th into the 9th minute of the added time in this first half. And Stuart Atwell still wants to have a conversation with Vinicius Sousa there. Quick chat with Sousa and Welbeck there. Throw in for Sheffield United. Last attempt of the half this will be. Long throw in. All the way through. Van Hecke with a header. Not cleared away. Into the box. The shot was blocked. And that is the final action of the first half. First half where Sheffield United walked down the tunnel, greeted with boos from their home fans. A pretty dismal first half from Sheffield United, really. The early red card certainly didn't help things in wanting to cause a statement upset, but they couldn't do so, and Brighton dominated the game, controlled the rest of the first half more or less. They got their 2 goals, and that is where we stand at the break. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny. You call me a god. You call me a god. You call me a god.
Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time at Bramall Lane. It is Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, and Sheffield United, of course, down to 10 after Mason Holgate's early red card. We'll review two big decisions in that first half from VAR. We'll talk about the red card, and we'll also go through that disallowed goal for Sheffield United. It was disallowed on field. VAR had a check and confirmed that decision. We will have a look at both incidents very shortly. But let's run you through what we've already seen at this Premier League weekend. It's been in a busy day yesterday. 7 games from the Premier League yesterday. It all started yesterday lunchtime. At the Brentford Community Stadium, at the GTEC Community Stadium, where Brentford were beaten 4-1 in the end by Liverpool. Some big injuries for Liverpool in that first half, the likes of Curtis Jones, Jota and Darwin Núñez all having to go off with injuries of some sorts in that first half, which isn't good news for Liverpool. They had a 1-goal lead at half-time. Darwin Núñez with a nice chipped finish over the Brentford keeper Mark Flecken to give Liverpool an early lead. Alexis McAllister then got the second from a Mo Salah cross. Salah then involved in the third one as well. He scored at this time. Nice finish, losing his balance. Ivan Toney thought he got given Brentford a lifeline, getting a goal back against Liverpool for 3-1 before Cody Gakpo wrapped it up. He assisted Salah for the third goal and scored for the fourth one to give Liverpool a very firm victory away at Brentford. Their first victory away at Brentford since 1938, by the way. Of course, they haven't played them practically since then in the Premier League. They've played them 1 or 2 times. They were beaten firmly last season, Liverpool, by Brentford, and then drew in the first season 3-3. Incredible, those games. But Liverpool winning yesterday. Also a big win for Arsenal on the road away at Burnley, who look equally as dismal as Sheffield United this season. Martin Odegaard getting on the score sheet within 4 minutes before a Bukayo Saka penalty to give Arsenal a 2-goal lead at half-time. Saka then on the score sheet again 2 minutes after the half to extend Arsenal's lead before Trossard and Havertz wrapped up the points to give Arsenal a firm 5-0 win. That's back-to-back big wins for Arsenal on the road and clean sheets. 6-0 away at West Ham last weekend, 5-0 away at Burnley this weekend. Back to winning ways for Aston Villa, who were beaten 2-1 at home by Manchester United last week, but they were back to winning ways. Ollie Watkins on the score sheet for both goals, giving them a 2-goal lead before Rodrigo Muniz rescued one back for Fulham, but not enough to give Fulham anything out of the game in the end. And Aston Villa held on to win that game by 2-1 in the end after coming under late pressure in that one, but 3 points takes them back into the top 4. We'll show you the table in just a moment. A more exciting game indeed at St James's Park yesterday, where Newcastle had to come from behind twice against Bournemouth. Dominic Solanke scoring the first to put Bournemouth ahead before Anthony Gordon from the penalty levelled it for the Toon, before Antoine Semenyo then took the lead again for Bournemouth, and in the 92nd minute, Matt Ritchie getting the late equaliser to make the points shared at St James's Park between Newcastle and Bournemouth. 2-2 yesterday. Big defeat for West Ham last weekend away at home to Arsenal, 6-0, and a big defeat away from home this time. Nottingham Forest, the team victorious against West Ham. West Ham without scoring again. Taiwo Awoniyi was the only man on the score sheet in the first half, and the 45th plus 5th, the 5th minute of added time in the first half, Taiwo Awoniyi opened the scoring, forced Nottingham Forest in a kind of yellow card, kind of filled game. Calvin Phillips then saw a second yellow in the second half, which kind of got them from bad to worse for West Ham. Not a good start to his West Ham career, Calvin Phillips. Certainly nothing good to be said. Both Nottingham Forest goals coming in in added time in both halves. Awoniyi's in the first half, and Callum Hudson-Odoi getting the second for Forest in the 94th minute to confirm the 3 points for Forest. A much needed 3 points in their fight against relegation. Wolves have done the double over Spurs, and they went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and João Gomez leading them to that victory. Wolves yesterday scoring both goals either side of a Dejan Kulusevski goal to give Wolves all 3 points. Spurs dominated that game, but had less shots on target than Wolves on the day, and that defeat takes Spurs out of the top 4, and a chance, if Manchester United win today, for United to go within 3 points of Tottenham inside the top 5. A big result in terms of the title race. Arsenal and Liverpool both winning yesterday, but their rivals Manchester City dropping points at home against Chelsea. It was their former player Raheem Sterling that scored the goal for Chelsea in the first half. They were holding on Chelsea to that 1-goal lead, sitting deeper and less kind of involved in trying to get the ball away, and Rodri getting the leveller to rescue a point for Manchester City to remain unbeaten at home this season. But it was the 3 points they were really hoping for, City, but couldn't get it over the line. 2-0 at Brighton at half time. Luton and Man United to come. Team news from that game in around 25 minutes time, and Everton Crystal Palace will round us off on another Premier League weekend tomorrow night. Let's just run you through the first half then. Let's talk you before we have a look at the... Actually, no, we'll look at the table now. That would be smarter, wouldn't it? Have a look at the Premier League table, see how things are turning out. So, wins for Liverpool and Arsenal and Aston Villa on the road yesterday. Newcastle dropping points at home. Forest winning. Wolves winning. And then the droppage of points for Manchester City at home against Chelsea. Let's have a look and see what that does to the top of the Premier League table. Liverpool remain the league leaders with 57 points, 2 points ahead of Arsenal on 55, and Manchester City in third on 53, 4 points off the top of the table. But Manchester City have a game in hand, which they will play on Tuesday night at home against Brentford, who a chance to go back within 1 point of the lead of the table. But if they'd won last night and they win on Tuesday, they would have been a point ahead of Liverpool, but trying to rescue and get themselves just a point behind the league leaders, of course. Aston Villa back into the top 4, as you can see, above Spurs, who lost yesterday. Manchester United with a chance to go within 3 points of Spurs if they win later this afternoon. Brighton at the moment closing that gap to Manchester United and going above West Ham and Newcastle in the table, up to 7th Brighton with this lead at the moment that would carry them to their 10th win of the season. Newcastle and West Ham, of course, dropping points yesterday, and Chelsea, they would say it's a point picked up, but in the basis of how the balance of the play was in that game against City, maybe 2 points dropped, but they're into the top half above Wolves, who went into the top half earlier in the afternoon. Wolves just down into the bottom half, just in 11th, but 6 points clear of 12th place Fulham on 29. Bournemouth and Brentford pretty much a bit, well, Bournemouth I would say were pretty safe. Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace and Luton all in that. I would say Brentford and Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace all being dragged back into that relegation battle. All three, well, three sides very different fortunes. Brentford losing at home, of course. Forest winning at home. That's a big 3 points for them to take them away from Luton for at least a bit of a while. Crystal Palace, of course, still yet to play this weekend. Luton, of course, just a point above the relegation zone. They play Manchester United later. Everton, of course, play on Monday night, so they could have a change in the bottom 3 depending on results to come. And Burnley and Sheffield United quite dismally 7 points adrift of safety, both of those teams having already, well, Burnley already played and already well beaten this weekend. Sheffield United being well beaten by Brentford or by Brighton at this moment in time. That is how the table stands. Let's have a look quickly through those first half incidents for you. Let's have a look at the red card first. This is the red card for Mason Holgate in that first half. It's a pretty simple decision. Stuart Atwell initially gave a yellow card on the field, called over to the screen by VAR, and I mean the challenge is awful from Holgate. I mean his right boot literally above the knee of Karim Izoma when it makes contact. It is one of the worst challenges I have seen this season. It's an awful challenge by Mason Holgate. Then let's have a quick look at this. Was a 2-0. And Sheffield United, of course, trying to get a goal back. If you look, as the ball, you can see there, if you can see the yellow ball, where the two Sheffield United players are inside the 6-yard box, you can see the ball bounces off Souza. It then comes to number 40 in a black shirt, Buonanotte. It comes off his head, but inadvertently kind of bounces off his head. And the man, as you can see there, in Ben Osborne, who's standing right in front of the goalkeeper in yellow, and Ben Osborne just ahead of him in the red, he is in an offside position when the last firm contact is made, therefore in an offside position. And Buonanotte getting the deflection doesn't reset the offside, as it's not a deliberate action, so therefore that was why the Sheffield United goal was disallowed. Pretty dramatic first half at Bramall Lane, where it is Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2, Sheffield United down to 10. The second half is on the way in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Catch me if I fall. I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny. Call me a
Welcome back to Premier League Live, the second half from Bramall Lane on the way in just a moment. Don't forget another Premier League game to come for you this afternoon, live commentary of Luton against Manchester United at 4:30 from Kenilworth Road. Luton, of course, looking to bounce back from that defeat to Sheffield United last week and take themselves 4 points away from the bottom three, and the third bottom Everton or Manchester United looking to close the gap to 3 points. The Spurs above them into 6th. That is at 4:30. We'll get team news from that game in around about 20 minutes time. So don't worry about that, as both sets of players are out for the second half here at Bramall Lane, ready to go again. And I think there was 1 or 2 changes from Brighton, I'm guessing, or I think at half-time. We'll confirm those to you in a second. So we're ready to get back underway. Stuart Atwell. We're waiting for Stuart Atwell to give the signal. Still awaiting. There we are. We're back underway at Bramall Lane again for another half of football. In the second half, where Sheffield United are hoping for it to be a bit more positive than the first. Just a bit. Just a bit. They've started on the front foot and got an early corner off Lewis Dunk. It's a good start to the half there from Sheffield United. I'll confirm those changes for you in a second. The first one I know is Igor Julio has come on for Adam Webster. That's the first of those 2 subs. I think they made a double sub at half time. We'll confirm that for you in a second. Sheffield United have a corner. Right hand side. Delivery in. Headed away by Brighton, and a dinger with a follow up that far it away from danger. And across the halfway line, where Foderingham can get it back. Mitoma's header straight down into the path. McAtee couldn't play it on there to Bogle, who continued his run through the middle, Jayden Bogle, but Brighton get back under control from that position. The double change in the back line for Brighton. I'll tell you about that in a second. Here comes Welbeck though. Gross now finds it. Dingra trying to turn inside out of Larucci again, and we'll get nothing from it. Goal kick, the decision. So the double change from Brighton is as follows. Igor and Jakub Moder have come on in replace of Adam Webster and Tariq Lamptey. So what it feels like is Brighton might have gone to a back four? Possibly? That's a possibility. They've taken off 2 defenders and replaced them with 1 defender and a midfielder. Then it looks like they might be going to a back four, but you never know with Roberto De Zerbi. The back four could be a ploy, who knows? At the moment, it looks to be continuing in a back three, it seems. As Igor, Van Hecke and Dunk, the 3. It seems at the moment, and Gross will continue as kind of a wing back. And I think trying to maybe get Mitoma as probably the other wing back, maybe. Fascinating. Here's Igor. Dunk. Out of Gross, he's more central at the moment. Dunk Gilmore. Now gives it to Igor. Down the left hand side is Mitoma. Up against Bogle. Mitoma trying to make a good run, but has to cut it back to Gilmore. Well covered over by Bogle. Here is Mitoma again. Well, I think maybe Brighton are going for something different, because it seemed to be Lamptey was kind of going to be the main target with Mitoma on that left hand side, that main threat, but Igor doesn't want to seem to do that similar role, so it seems to be that they've made that tweak where they're not going to have that overlapping wing back that's going to help out the winger. It seems to be Mitoma seems to be on his own. Here he is again, Mitoma up against Bogle. Again is sent back the way he came. Moder. Brighton just strolling around, controlling possession for the moment. Welbeck finds Van Hecke. And I was wrong in that first half. They did make a change. Sheffield United a long time after the red card, but Austin Trusty, I'd said, did come on. He came on for William Osula, so they did make that change. Sheffield United in the first half, so they did bring an extra defender on to help out. I don't blame them. By that point, they were already 2-0 down, and that was kind of the damage limitations approach from Chris Wilder. Here's Mitoma. Closes down the challenge. Igor. Here's Van Hecke. Has space. Well, eyed up a shot, but didn't take it. Nice intricate movements. Here's Mitoma trying to force one. Again, takes a block off Jayden Bogle, and they find out to the right ball, James McAtee, but he's easily dispossessed by Jean-Paul Van Hecke there. McAtee's leading the line for Sheffield United on those counter-attacks now. Here's Gross. Van Hecke. Pascal Gross. Dunk. Seems to be a bit wider at the moment, Sheffield United. They're not as narrow as they were in the first half. They're still narrow, but with that back 5, but not as narrow as they were. They're getting out to the wingers early enough. Here's Mitoma though. Igor gives it straight back to Sheffield United. That was a poor ball by Igor, and McAtee lays it off to Larouci. Speeding down the left. Here's Jasa Larouci. Has to find a pass. He's surrounded by Brighton players, but uses his pace to break away, but lost the control of the ball as Simon Adingra was on the cover and won it back for Brighton. Larouci had to find a pass somewhere, as there was a space for the counter-attack. But so many Brighton bodies in the way to block off any passing lane. Here's Mitoma trying to find Welbeck. Well dealt with by Sheffield United again. A bit of an awkward one, and Bogle bundled out of play. You get the throw in, I think, there. Does win that throw in, actually, Jayden Bogle. He won't take it though. Akmanodzic will take for Sheffield United. They've given it straight back to Brighton. Mitoma all the way back to Van Hecke as Brighton will build again, not rushing their moves, and they don't need to. Van Hecke. Across to Lewis Dunk. Ball over the top by Dunk. Spotted the keeper off his line, but had nowhere enough pace on that, as easily caught by Fodringham. Cleared it away. Dunk. Van Hecke goes back to Verbruggen. And engaged a slight press there for McAtee, but Brighton kind of not worried at all about that. Slight press and they play out from it easily. Here's Gross. Buonanotte. Billy Gilmore looking to switch it. Space now for Mitoma. Mitoma cuts it back. Here's Billy Gilmore. Buonanotte lays it off to Van Hecke. Working it into the box. Adingra works his angle and takes this shot, but straight into the hands of Wes Fodringham. Just when you think Brighton are going to take the shot, they find another fainted pass, and Adingra does really, really well. Initially he's in a lot of trouble. Manoeuvres his way past the player really, really well, and works the angle to find the shot. Just didn't get the right connection to it. In the end, Simon Adingra and Wes Fodringham was in his way. Got the catch on the ball. Larouci trying to make the run down the left. Comes across, does Van Hecke. Puts the ball out of play. Sheffield United have a throw in. They tick quickly, and Larouci trying to break the lines. Break past a few players. Shot from distance. It was dragged well wide by Vinicius Souza. Again, another positive chance for Sheffield United, but wasted really by that pop shot from distance from Vinicius Souza that was nowhere near threatening Bart Verbruggen in the Brighton goal whatsoever. Has he made a save in this game, Verbruggen? Not to be disrespectful, I don't think he has. He's made one save so far. Verbruggen. Oh, there's an issue here. Buonanotte with a yellow card. It was a foul. Sheffield United fans wanted a red. That's not a red card. It is a yellow card. The point is, I mean, he does catch at Austin Trusty, but It's not anything more than a free kick and a yellow card. It's not a dangerous and reckless one, the likes of a Mason Holgate from earlier. It was just clumsy. It was a yellow card. Here is Buonanotte to get Brighton on the front foot. Here comes Adingra down the right hand side, looking to make the diagonal infield run, but run into trouble in Vinicius Souza. And it will be a goal kick. Good recovery by Souza. He was claiming for a goal kick there. I don't think he will actually. Maybe a corner. See this again. Adingra steps back and should be a goal kick because Adingra did have the last touch. He was claiming and claiming for it. Vinicius Souza initially thought he'd given it because of they'd given the goal kick because of the reaction, but they've given a corner. The officials, right-footed delivery. Up was close was Dunk, but Souza got it away, and Gilmore with the second one, trying to fire it towards goal. Blocked off. Adingra on the recovery. Gets it down, finds Gross. Now Buonanotte. Switches it out to Mitoma on the left-hand side. Kaoru Mitoma. Going to spin his way past, plays it across, and threatening ball. Ahmedhodzic deals with it, clears it behind. I have to say, Kaoru Mitoma, not to say that he's not been threatening, but Jayden Bogle's done a decent job so far at dealing with him on occasion. He hasn't sped past him yet in this second half, which is probably one of the main positives you can take against a player like Kaoru Mitoma. They have a corner. Pascal Gross to take for Brighton. Left hand side, right footed delivery, deep across, and a simple catch for the Sheffield United keeper, Fodringham. Looks to fire it long. Thread in behind, ball in behind. McAtee was there, he's in the Brighton box, but lost control of it. Good recovery. Fantastic ball over the top by Wes Fodringham. McAtee done really well to follow it. He just, as he brought it down, it left him completely escaped away from his control and allowed the Brighton player to recover. And they did recover really well, but it's a good idea by McAtee. Just unfortunate there. It was a nice idea by Sheffield United. You know, a goal for them now would kind of change the dynamics of the game. And that's why a third goal for Brighton is probably necessary, just to ease the kind of the pressures. But I mean, they're not under much pressure, let's be honest. 2-0 up and against 10 men, they're dominating, and Motor's just won another corner. But moments like that, where McAtee could have a chance at goal, that goal comes, Sheffield United get the next one, and the dynamics of this game have all but changed, you know, completely changed, flipped on its head, and it's then Brighton that have got the reaction to have. They need to have the reaction. It's all about the next goal. Third one for Brighton, and then that surely would be game over and Brighton can just cruise to victory. But while it's still 2-0, still a slight bit of hope for Sheffield United, how minimal that may be. Corner from the left hand side, whipped in at the front post, headed clear, brought down by Moder. Gross across, all the way back to Gilmore. Gilmore fizzes it into the box. Dinger with a connection, clears it away. Van Hecke with a heavy touch allows Sheffield United back on the possession, but only for a moment as they win it back again. Brighton, Dunk, Moder. Feel like Brighton are up in the tempo, just up in the gear slightly. Plan more pressure. Here's Mitoma. Does speed past Bogle. Plays the ball across and it comes flying off Wes Fodringham and hit the post as well on the way through. From Mitoma, tried to go front post that time. And the first time he sped past Bogle this half. Change of pace is fantastic. The burst of pace from Mitoma. The speed past Bogle. Gets to the byline and just looks to sneak it across the front post. But comes off Fodringham and behind for the corner. It's like Brighton are really starting to knock on the door. Try and get this third goal. Gross with delivery again. Front post cleared away by Sheffield United. I think it was Larouci that time that got it away, or was it Bogle? One of the two. As Motor bricks away, but again dealt with by Sheffield United. They clear their lines again. Nice first touch there. And McAtee dispossessed and eventually out for a throw-in. Around the halfway line. Well, that's good move by Sheffield United there from the throw-in. Here's Gus Hammer trying to find someone in the box, but wasn't patient enough. Too quick on that one. Van Hecke a bit impatient in his clearance. Sheffield United might have something here. You know, I said it's still something in this game. Throw in on the right hand side for Sheffield United. They're going to go for the long one. I think it's Osborne that's going to take the long throw in. Or it's Robinson, sorry, that takes the long throw, but that one is really poor. Straight behind for a goal kick from the throw in. Not seen that before. Go for the long throw in and straight out of play. And they're going to make another change, Sheffield United. And it's going to be Yasser Larouci who's going to make way, and Andre Brooks is going to be his replacement. So Larouci off, Brooks on. So a defensive change there, but possibly could be an attacking change as well. Kind of that, some fresh legs to add a bit of pace in the wide flanks. Larouci was doing a good job, but you can see maybe Chris Wilder just wants that bit of a burst of pace that fresh legs can offer you. Considering where we are in the game, inside the last 30 minutes. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. Sheffield United down to 10, of course. But in the last few moments, they've seen a few more positives. Right, the game they've been more threatening. Minimally, but more threatening indeed. Certainly causing Brighton more problems than they were in the whole of the first half, let's be honest. And I think, despite that goal being disallowed, the fact that they did put the ball in the net, the fact they could threaten, would probably give Sheffield United a positive as well. That confidence that, you know, we can still do this, despite being down to 10 men, we can find a way to get the ball in the back of the Brighton net. It's just about doing it now. It's a nice ball by Mitoma there. Just escaped well back. Not too far away that occasion, but although I wouldn't say on a knife edge, what I would say is the next goal is crucial in kind of how the final stages of this game play out. I mean, so far, against the 10 men of Sheffield United, Brighton really haven't struggled at all. You know, they've been dominating, they've been finding their passes, they've got the quality of players to kind of find those tight pockets of space where they can find the delivery and they can find the finish. They've been able to do that on occasions. But if things just slightly go a bit more Sheffield United's way, just can swing in their favour slightly, you know, you never know what can happen. You know, if Sheffield United figure out their counter-attacking play and get it perfect, they could cause a big threat. Because Brighton are committing so many bodies forward. They'll get a free kick there. Brighton, just as Sheffield United thought they'd won the ball back. Akmilodzic won it back unfairly, according to the referee, against his opposite number in Jakob Moder, and that will be a free kick to Brighton. And they're going to make a change before that. And Facundo Buonanotte, who opened the scoring in bizarre fashion in the first half, is going to be replaced. And it's going to be another attacking change for Brighton. That's Evan Ferguson that's going to be coming on. The Republic of Ireland international. Coming on to maybe add a bit more potency to the attack, and his international manager, well, the former Republic of Ireland manager Stephen Kenny, watching on this afternoon. Of course, the Republic of Ireland, according to sources, to announce their new manager imminently. And we'll find out in due course. Evan Ferguson will want to impress for whoever that new manager is. Ball in, Mitoma with a connection! And behind it for another corner off Ahmedhodzic. Again, good move down the right hand side. Pascal Gross just got away from Brooks. Got his ball with his right boot right across goal to the back post, and the fizzed connection bounced on by Kaoru Mitoma right across the box, and then Ahmedhodzic had to fire it behind for the corner. Was just trying to figure out if there was going to be a connection from Brighton there. Corner, whipped in. Gross, when the header from Evan Ferguson got up there, but straight into the hands of Wes Foderingham. Gross with the delivery, right-footed, right onto the head of Evan Ferguson. Done really well. Just retreat and get up fairly there, Evan Ferguson. Done really well. What a good, firm connection by Wes Foderingham. Maybe Roberto De Zerbi's thinking the same. A third goal would kind of dead this game. That's probably why he's made that attacking change. Fresh legs for him. Evan Ferguson a bit more threat from set pieces with that extra bit of height in there. Although Buonanotte had the goal from a free kick, or from a corner, sorry, from the set piece to open the scoring. Just maybe that extra threat and extra bit of height. Here's Danny Welbeck. Finds a Dingra. The cut back was poor and broken up by Andre Brooks, but given away, and Gilmour has a first time shot at it, but over the bar by the young Englishman, or the young Scotsman, sorry, not call him an Englishman, I'll get crucified. The young Scotchman, and Billy Gilmour firing it over the bar. Again, Andre Brooks just a bit poor, trying to carry the ball away and loses possession far too easily inside, just on the edge of his own 18-yard box. And luckily for him, it doesn't end up in the back of his own net, but very much could have. It's that long kick again, but again Brighton have it back instantly. Here's Igor Van Hecke into the final quarter of the game. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 2. Sheffield United down to 10. And both Brighton goals coming within a 4-minute period in the first half. Buonanotte with the first and Welbeck with the second. After that Mason Holgate red card very early in the game. After just 12 minutes I think he was sent off. Mason Holgate. Here's Mitoma. Space on the left. Doubled up upon this time. Doubly marked. And it actually worked out for Sheffield United. Bogle with the interaction, and Hammer to clear it away. But again, Brighton win it back. Van Hecke, Welbeck, nice link up. Finds Evan Ferguson, just evaded him. And pressure on Foderingham and clears his lines. Does Wes Foderingham. But again, 88% possession for Brighton in this second half. As damaging as can be there. Here's Mitoma. Space on the left again. Tried to go for a cross there. Mitoma with the outside of his boot, or outside of his right boot, but completely miscued it. Straight behind for a goal kick. Well, we talked about Sheffield United's poor home form. Sheffield United's away form, or Sheffield United's poor home form. Brighton's away form hasn't been much to write home about either. 3 wins in their 12 away games this season. They've lost 6 away league games this season and have a negative goal difference away from home. Their home form is pretty remarkable. Brighton only losing 1 at home this season. One of the best at home, and that's what's kind of pushing them up the table. Their away form has not been pretty. That could get their 4th away win of the season. 20 minutes away from that. And that win would put them above Newcastle and West Ham, up to 7th Brighton, and back into that conversation of European football, most certainly. Right back into the thick of that conversation with a win here. Sheffield United, though, if Luton or Everton pick up points, it could be a even more dismal picture for Burnley and Sheffield United come the end of this weekend. If both Luton, say for argument's sake, that Luton and Everton both win this weekend, that would mean that Luton will be on 23 points, Everton on 22 points. I mean, they would be 9 points clear of safety, or 10 points adrift of safety, both Burnley and Sheffield United. If plus Luton will have a game in hand as well on the teams below them. And if they win both of those, they could find themselves a good 13 points ahead of Sheffield United and Burnley in bottom and second bottom of the table, which makes it look even more dismal. Into the last, in between the last 20 minutes. I think there was a bit of movement on the Sheffield United bench there, just keeping an eye on that as they win a throw in here, the home side. It's not often that, if Sheffield United don't get on the score, it's not often that Brighton keep a clean sheet in the Premier League. Only 2 clean sheets this season for Brighton in the Premier League, which, considering how far they are up the table, that's an unusual stat for a team in their position. We talk about the difficulty for Sheffield United in the run-in. You know, they don't have an easy run-in, you know, towards that kind of the last 13 games of the season. Their next 6 don't kind of offer them too much. You know, if you look at their run-in, they do still have to go to Newcastle, still have to go to Liverpool, still have to go to Manchester United, still have to welcome Arsenal, still have to play Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, still have to go to Goodison Park. You know, still some very big away games, and away to Brentford as well. There's still some very big away games, Sheffield United, but also some big teams still have to come here. So a lot of big games to come for Sheffield United, and not many were, based on their performances, where you could say they might get something out of that. This minute in time, you're struggling to figure out where Sheffield United are going to get a draw, never mind a win. You know, the next game at Wolves have just done the double over Spurs. I mean, they beat Spurs away from home. Oh, it's an own goal. Cross from Mitoma, and in the back of the net from Jack Robinson. An unfortunate own goal for Sheffield United. Their day's gone from bad to worse. And Jack Robinson, the crucial touch to take it across the line. And that would surely wrap up the points, without doubt now. With around 15 minutes to go. Kaoru Mitoma, who's been a threat from the left-hand side all afternoon, just puts a decent cross in. And Jack Robinson panics slightly, surely, tries to clear it away and ends up stretching too far and can't get it away from goal. Stretches when toe pokes it into the back of his own net. That is so unfortunate for Robinson, but it's just been that type of day for Sheffield United. Too often has been the case here at home, where they've had days where everything has gone against them and they've had very little positives to take from the game. I have to say, these fans at Bramall Lane have probably been the most tortured fans in a home stadium this season. They have seen some horrific performances from their team, and it's not been horrific today. It's been unfortunate, but Brighton have been by far the better side, and of course the extra man helps in that, but it's just individual moments that have let Sheffield United down. And as that has happened, and Brighton go 3 up, they've made another change. Kaoru Mitoma's day is over. His last action was a goal involvement, and that will be his day over, and Ansu Fati is going to come on in his place. So Ansu Fati on for Kaoru Mitoma. 3-0 to Brighton. I mean, the stats are stacked in their favour. Brighton 81% possession over the game, 19 shots he had on target, XG of 2.60, 9 corners, 5 big chances, which they've missed 3 of, by the way. Sheffield United have had 4 shots, just the 1 on target. 19% possession in the game this afternoon. And I don't think they're done yet. Brighton in terms of goal scoring, but if I were Sheffield United, I would just try my absolute best to see this out at 3-0. Don't want it to get any worse and make it a headline. Adingra! Lovely connection. And just as I say, Sheffield United don't want it to get any worse. Simon Adingra from the cross. What a lovely first time finish with his right boot. Well past Wes Foderingham. And it's 4-0 to Brighton. No contest overall in the game. And Simon Adingra has been the threat from the other flank. Finishes off a lovely cross. It's Igor back to Dunk. Dunk lifts it, spreads it out to the right hand side, finds Pascal Gross. The lovely curling ball in from Gross, and a sweeping in-step and strike from Simon Adingra with his right. Lovely finish. Connects with it first time, and the power and pace behind it means there is no chance for Wes Foderingham. And Simon Adingra adds to the very comfortable lead for Brighton now. Sheffield United 0, Brighton 4. There you go. Certainly the points are gone now. I know the points are going. It's just how many now. This is what I mean. Chris Wilder knows that. He's made a triple change. Ryan Brewster, Ollie Norwood and Ben Davis have all come onto the pitch. So he's made a triple change here, Chris Wilder. And Simon Adingra's 5th Premier League goal of the season. I think his first was against Liverpool at the Amex Stadium earlier in the season, if I can remember correctly. Well, talk about Brighton's lack of clean sheets this season, and only 2. Sheffield United have the worst. Quite remarkably, only 1 clean sheet this season for Sheffield United. Not a shock, considering they've conceded 64 goals in 25 games, but it's not a complete shock, but you know, would expect them to get at least 1 or 2. Clean sheets don't seem to be a common theme in the Premier League this season. Here's Jakob Moder. Delivery in again, back post. Just escaped Adingra at the last second there. The Jakob Moder cross. And Arsenal got to double figures yesterday in clean sheets. 10 clean sheets on the season. Everton and Liverpool in joint second with 8. Manchester United and Newcastle in joint third with 7. Manchester City all the way down with 6 clean sheets this season. Not often you see that from Manchester City. Another change here for Brighton coming. Pervis Stupinian is going to come onto the pitch, and he's going to replace Danny Welbeck. Welbeck's day is over. 1 goal for him. scored the second in the first half for Brighton. Danny Welbeck. And that was Danny Welbeck's second Premier League goal of the season. And he did score here in the FA Cup in that 5-2 victory. Scored the last goal in the 97th minute. Danny Welbeck there. His only other goal this season has came in that 1-1 draw away at Crystal Palace back in December. That's actually a mistake. He scored another goal in the 3-1 win over Manchester United. Why? It said he had 2 goals before kickoff. That's what it is. Got confused there by my own statistics. Goal kick there from the cross. Motor just over the head of him. And into the last 10 minutes, Sheffield United 0, Brighton 4, and very melancholy faces around Sheffield, around Bramall Lane, the home crowd. Not a smile to be seen, and can't blame them, honestly. Remember, I talked about that season, the last time they were in the Premier League, that 2020-2021 season, when they were relegated after just 23 points. They'd conceded less goals. They have already conceded more goals this season than they did in the whole of that season when they were last in the Premier League. Sheffield United 63 they conceded that season. They've already conceded 64, and we still have another 13 games to go. Although they have scored many more than they've already scored in that season. They scored 20 in that season. They scored 22 this season. But of course, they did lose 29 games that season. Crazy, that. 29 games. These big scorelines are all too common for Sheffield United this season. I mentioned the Aston Villa 5-0 where they were absolutely torn to bits. I mean, they were 5 down before half-time, I think. Or was it 4 down before half-time? One of the two. But they were well beaten in the first half. This game, there was 2 at half-time. Maybe there was still some positives in the game. There was still some positive play. But, you know, in the end, I mean, it's just another day to forget. And with the rate that they're going, they're averaging 2.56 goals conceded per game. If you average that out over a season, that would put them out at, on average, 97 goals would be conceded this season. They're pushing ever closer to averaging 100 goals conceded in one season, which would be an all-time Premier League record. Of course, as I mentioned, 89 goals conceded in one season is the record. In a 38-game season, in a 42-game season, it was 100 goals by Swindon Town. But in a 38-game season, it's 89 goals conceded. And on the basis of averages, Sheffield United are going to exceed that quite convincingly this season if they keep going at the rate that they're going in conceding goals. Really awful how many goals they've conceded. It is shocking how many it is. And they might be on to more here for Brighton. Gross, nice work. Fatty lays it off to Adengra, takes the shot, deflection, and in! There's 5. And Simon Adengra gets another goal. And he gets his 6th of the season, his 2nd of the afternoon. And Brighton's day gets better and better. And it's another one of those days for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Another day to forget. There's been so many of those this season. Every single time we just see pictures of the home fans, and honestly, I don't blame them. And I wouldn't be here if I were them. Shocking. Adengra, I mean, it's the slice of luck, but They don't deal with the threat inside the box, Sheffield United. They don't clear their lines anywhere near well enough. They don't cover the spaces. And Adingra just has too much space. Beats past Andre Brooks. And he gets a slight deflection off a Sheffield United player. Loops it past Foderingham and into the far netting. But it's just too easy. Far too easy. And there's the 5th. Could be more. Oh, Stupinian was trying to press there to try and add to an already humongous lead. They get another. With the biggest scoreline of the weekend. They're matching Arsenal's 5-0 victory away at Burnley. So at least Sheffield United and Burnley have something in common. They lose by big margins at home. Still another 3.5 minutes of normal time plus the additional time to go. Forgot about the team news from Kenilworth Road. I'm bringing that to you in a moment. That's coming up. Luton against Manchester United kick-off in around about 40 minutes time. 4:30 kick-off from Kenilworth Road. Luton and Manchester United. And we'll get team news from that one in a second for you. What was I going to say? Yes, next up for these two, Brighton. Not back in action until next Saturday, when they have a home game at 3 o'clock next Saturday against Everton at the Amex before they go to Wolves in the FA Cup the midweek after in the FA Cup 5th round. Sheffield United have a trip to Wolves next Sunday at 1:30, of course. 1:30 kick-off earlier, of course, due to the League Cup final. That's next Sunday. We won't have that one live, of course. Next Sunday is dedicated to the League Cup final, which you can watch live here on LFS, the live commentary of the 2023 or 2024 Carabao Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool, a repeat of the 2022 final from Wembley as Mauricio Pochettino and Jurgen Klopp come face to face again. They've met each other in a final before, the Champions League final in 2019, where Klopp emerged victorious when it was Liverpool against Spurs that time round. Long time ago. You can watch that next Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff from Wembley. Then, team news. Let's get to the team news from Kenilworth Road then. While we are just watching Brighton come on the attack again. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to go. Dinger on a hat-trick. He wants that hat-trick. He went for the shot there, blocked. Still pressing our Brighton. I'll update you if anything changes there. Luton and Manchester United then. Luton start with Thomas Kaminski in goal. A back five of Tahith Chong, Teden Mengi, Gabriel Osho, Amari Bell and Alfie Doughty. Albert Samuel Lukonga and Ross Barkley in midfield with an attacking three of Ogbene, Morris and Adebayo. For Manchester United, Onana starts in goal. Dalot, Varane, Maguire and Shaw make up the back four. Menu, Casemiro and Fernandes in midfield with Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund in attack. There for you. Those are the teams, and we'll go through them in further detail in our 4:30 stream, where we'll be watching that game. Luton against Manchester United. Do join us over there. If you stay to the end of this stream, once the stream ends, we'll send you straight over to the stream. We're getting ready for the Luton Manchester United game to kick off in around about 35 minutes time. But still, a couple of minutes to go at the very least in this one. As we're entering the last few seconds of the 90 minutes, we'll find out how much will be added on at the end of the 90 here at Bramall Lane, where it's been another dreadful day for Sheffield United, really. Another day where they concede a hat full of goals at home. And the referee has added 5 added minutes, so 5 more minutes to go at the end of this one. 5 more minutes for Sheffield United to just play out. Certainly won't be enjoying, but we'll see. You know, if they are to rescue this season, it will be some rescue job. Some would say it's too far gone. They are too far gone, but it's not over till it's over. But it's very rare that with 13 points, with 13 games to go. You know, it could be an awful display from Sheffield United in terms of points finishes this season. It won't be a Premier League record, of course. The Derby County record still stands and will still stand for at least for another season. That's crazy, that record, the lowest points ever in the Premier League accumulated in a season. That was 11 by Derby County in 2007-2008. Sheffield United have just surpassed that. They surpassed that just last week. Of course, with that win over Luton, they were still within kind of record reach. There could be some other records that they will undoubtedly be eking towards. Not wanting to, but maybe they will. We will see. So again, there's a player went down there for Brighton in the box. Referee waved away any sort of claims. Possible penalty they wanted there, Brighton, but nothing in that. And they come away with it, Sheffield United, trying to get the pressure off their defence. Maybe they give them something hope there. Davis there wins a corner. Tom Davis. Oh, Verbruggen and Davis losing their rags. Calm down, seriously. Wise up. What are you going to gain from doing this? Both get a yellow card for their unnecessary tussles. Just pointless, that. And Sheffield United will have a corner. And one interesting stat is Verbruggen, by the way, hasn't kept a clean sheet for Brighton this season. Will he be able to get his first one this season for Brighton? It looks to be that way, because that corner has come to absolutely nothing. Shock. We talk about Sheffield United and this kind of poor display that they're showing this season in the Premier League, not just in this game, but consistently over the season. You know, fairly undercooked coming into the league. They have brought some good players in. They've brought back their old manager in Chris Wilder, who, well, I mean, he did relegate them at one point. Was the manager for the majority of that 2020-2021 season, where they did get relegated. Paul Heckingbottom took charge and was in charge for a long time, and got them back into the Premier League. Then was sacked. The first manager to be sacked this season was Paul Heckingbottom, and they brought back Chris Wilder. Did Sheffield United, thought they could bring back the hopes and dreams, but it's a very different game, very different Premier League than it was 4 years ago when Chris Wilder was doing such an amazing job, you know, with Sheffield United. You know, that season where they finished 9th in the league. You know, the league is very, very different than now than what it was then. And I get the idea from Sheffield United, but was it the right decision? Because so far, although there's been a slight uptick in results, not majorly. And when you don't have a team that has the quality that's good enough, a manager can only do so much. You can't work miracles. The team aren't good enough consistently. You're going to be in that battle and you're going to be relegated. And another dismal day comes to an end for Sheffield United. No sooner than they've wanted it to. Probably it took a lot longer than they wanted it to. And another good day for Brighton. Sheffield United couldn't build upon that first win away from home last weekend away at Luton with back-to-back results, but they were firmly beaten here, quite convincingly, by Brighton in the end. That red card after just 13 minutes from Mason Holgate surely had the kind of writings on the wall in the early stages. Brighton took a 2-goal lead pretty quickly. Their third took a while to come, but when it did, They followed up with a 4th and a 5th from Simon Adingra. And that is a 5-star display in the end for Brighton. 5-0 the winners. And Sheffield United, well, they can only look up. But it's a long way up to safety for Sheffield United now. And by each passing game, they edge ever closer to a return to the EFL Championship. Still a bit to go, but it's not looking good for Sheffield United. Final score from Bramall Lane: Sheffield United 0, Brighton 5. And don't forget, still to come, Luton against Manchester United. Kick-off from 4:30 will be live in about 20 minutes' time for that one. Do stay with us. But for now, see you shortly.